Well, good morning, everybody. Game time, Brian, otherwise known as the mailman, starting my 3 day weekend. Yes, my 3 day weekend, followed by a 6 day work week next week, followed by vacation. Staycation. We'll call it a staycation. But be that as it may, right, Mark? We did a video last night. It got at hand again, as it always does with the Zoom call on Mark's channel. I've learned that when I say I keep it 100, some fans don't like to keep it 100. Listen, I'm not going to tell you how to fan, right? I'm not going to tell you. If you want to think that your particular team is all that without any flaws, it's my job to point out the flaws, whether it's for the Cowboys, the Eagles, or anybody else. And I'm not there physically watching it with my own eyes. So I take the people who do that for a living and, we'll give you the good and the bad. A lot of people don't want to hear any negative. This is the season of optimism. This is the season of optimism. So I'm not here to pee in anybody's pool, so to speak. So it's like, it is what it is. Now, circling back, Vinny Hagan, circling back to our Dallas Cowboys, we lost Sam Williams for the year. We know this, right? We definitely know that we lost him for the year. Um, they signed two people, not named to Carl Lawson. So, interesting enough that that's what happened. They did not sign Carl Lawson. He not really the athlete that these other two guys are. He's got more skins on the wall, but let's not act like that Carl Lawson, he was out of a job. They did sign two guys. We touched on it last night, but we'll go over it again. Um, they signed here. I'll just do this so you guys can see what I'm reading. This is what they signed. Let me get over here. Actually, let me switch to cam. That way you can see me better. There we go. All right, even though I'll be looking over here. They signed edge rusher Shaka Tony, okay, and Al Quadin Muhammad after successful workouts on Thursday afternoon in Oxnard. Um, after with the aftermath of losing Sam Williams for the season due to an ACL tear, the Cowboys immediately addressed the depth by adding two bodies to the room. I'm not here to tell you that they're both going to make the team. I would imagine they would. We word out from uh, Oxnard is they were considering making a move before the Sam Williams injury. Nothing against Sam Williams, but we lost two depth pieces on the end. We lost Armstrong and we lost Dante Fowler, both to the Commandos. So um, it was something that needed to be done before Sam Williams. Now it's more. Now, just to keep it 100% transparent, they are getting way more out of Marshawn Nealand as a rookie than they ever thought they would. It's looking really good for him. He actually does have pass rush ability, albeit the three padded practices in. So we have to look at it from that lens that it's early yet, but early returns are good. Just like we'll tell you when things aren't good. Mozzie's hot and cold right now. So that's how it is. But yeah, let's get back to the workout. Also included Carl Lawson and Justin Hollins, neither of which are expected to sign at this time after personnel department decides to go with the other two guys. Shaka Tony, who was the seventh round draft selection of the Washington Commanders in 2021 NFL draft, just has 1.5 sacks, 16 tackles in 26 career games. So he's literally a rotational piece. The bulk of his experience has come on special teams. He didn't have a lot of opportunity with the Commanders, with that they had a really good defensive line. Um, let's see here. The bulk of his experience has come on special teams, where Sam Williams also leaves a void. That's why they went with this guy. I wanted to touch on that. John Fossil lost in these new rules. They're looking for a certain body type, real athletic linebacker, defensive end, bigger guys, fast, speed. That's what they want. So they lost that with Sam Williams. So this guy is going to come right in, help as a rotational piece from the edge, but also, and more importantly, help big time in the special teams unit. Special teams now more than ever is a huge question mark. Huge, huge, huge. We shall see, but it's a huge question mark regarding the NFL. We saw last night's game, only 3/4 of the game because they canceled it due to rain storms. That special teams wasn't as big, but I want to caution everybody. I believe that a lot of these teams, like the Cowboys, are not going to show what they're actually going to do on special teams in preseason. Do not kid yourself. John Fossil is going to play it vanilla, right down the middle, in our 3 preseason games. All right, let's get back to this. Tony played his college ball at Penn State alongside of Micah Parsons. Bingo. So you never know. Maybe that's his boy. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? So that's a feel-good story. I'm liking what I'm seeing there. Muhammad was a 6th-round selection of the New Orleans Saints in 2017, has the leg up on experience with 157 tackles, 12 sacks, and his 84 career games. His career has seen him spend 1 year in New Orleans and 4 seasons with Indianapolis Colts and 1 with the Bears. Muhammad and Tony spent most of 2023 on the league's suspension list. Both Muhammad and Tony were suspended last year. Muhammad was suspended for 6 games, violating the league's policy on performance-enhancing drugs while on practice squad with the Colts. He was released by the team after the season, but will still have to serve 1 remaining game. So, okay, he's out. He will be out 1 game of the regular season. That's Muhammad. He was released after the team. Okay, after 2023, Tony was suspended indefinitely for violating the league's policy on gambling and was reinstated April. He was just reinstated shortly after being reinstated. He was released by the Commandos. You got to understand, the Commandos have a new regime. Dan Quinn and all his boys, they're moving on. They brought in Dante Fowler, be that as it may. Sam Williams injury release behind a hole in the edge group that already looked to replace production lost by Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, like I previously said. While the production experience are not nearly the same for Muhammad and Tony, each will have the opportunity to claim a roster spot. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about regarding those two, because they're not necessarily on the team. Okay, we have Durrell Johnson. Okay, we have Marshawn Nealand, Junior Fehoko. I hope we don't hang on to him any longer than he deserves to be hung on to, because he needs to step up and step up now. He didn't play last year. Dan Quinn was sliding him in on the line. Now, who's to know if he's going to actually be on the edge like he played in college, or if he's going to be indeed on the line? It'll be interesting. I don't think he's an interior lineman. Just my opinion. But again, when they made the pick, I was excited. But last year, like most of our picks last year, was a wash year. So, kind of where I want to see what's going on with him. But I want to hear from Cowboy. I haven't watched this video. I don't want to add too much into this one video. We'll make other videos, and because I have a lot I want to talk about. But let's listen to what Stephen Jones has to say. He sat down with Nick Eatman, and let's see what he has to say about who they signed. I'm sure everything is going to be, sunshine and roses, I'm sure. So let's see exactly what's going on with that.
What's up, Cowboys Nation? I'm Nick Eatman here along with Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer, and here we are in the week of training camp in Oxnard. We've had some full padded practices, had an injury to talk about. I think I'll just start with that. You don't want to lose any player, but just what was it like to see Sam Williams down and know he's going to be out for the season?
Well, very difficult start with for Sam. He had a great offseason, was really prepared for this to be a foundation year for his.
He tore his ACL and MCL. Didn't tear the PCL, but he tore 2 ligaments. So
his career. When Will and I looked at, and Coach McCarthy, Jerry and I looked at the synopsis of the season.
On grass, non-contact, running on special teams, just running by himself. Nobody touched him. Non-contact. On grass.
One of the things we looked at is guys who should have played more, and he was one of them. And but wherever you put Sam, he plays hard. He did on special teams, blocked punts for us. Was a gunner. Zim and his staff were so looking forward to him. And but like I said, first of all, you feel for Sam. But that's a tough blow for our team. But the good news is, you have to keep going, and you need next man up. And over the last couple of days here, Tyrus Wheat has really stepped up and starting to get some people's attention. Certainly plays the similar position.
Here's the deal with Tyrus Wheat. He was more of a linebacker last year. He doesn't have the size to play traditional end, in my opinion. But again, we'll see. I think Tyrus Wheat will be on the team. He was a practice squatter, then he was elevated off the practice squad. Again, you're going to get the bulkier snaps from Marshawn Nealand. I want to hear him talking about Junior Fehoko, or Viliami, as what his mother named him.
That Sam plays, and we'll continue to look for ways to replace him. But it was a difficult situation for both Sam and the Cowboys. But those are, that goes on around the league. All 32 have their injury issues, and you just have to have the next man up mentality and and get ready, get some young guys ready.
Is it, when that happens, do you look at your scouts and go, all right, let's look at some names of guys that are out there, and we'll just keep an eye on them, but also use this time for the young guys, like you said, the Wheat and Darrell Johnson and guys like that?
As you said, it's all the above. I mean, it's certainly a time for young guys like Wheat and Darrell Johnson to step up, but obviously, with Will and our our scouting department, we're scanning what's out there, what could be out there, and player acquisition, as I always say, is 24/7, 365. But at the end of the day, too, you keep an eye on other teams' rosters and see where they might be heavy. But we'll continue to monitor that situation as we move forward.
Let me ask you about second-round pick Marshawn Nealon, and he's a guy that is compared a lot to Tank in the way he kind of can run stop and all that, but he's wearing 94, and if you can't wear 94 in this franchise, if you can't rush the passer, can he be kind of a guy that does a little bit of everything?
No question, and you hit it best. I mean, I think you're right on it. He's a young D-Law, and it goes without saying he was in the mix. I mean, he was in the mix, and now even more in the mix in terms of playing a lot of snaps for us. He had already established himself, as a guy who was going to be in that rotation with Sam and D-Law and Micah, as a pass rusher. But he's just had an outstanding camp, a young guy who we know is going to play a lot of football for us this year, and I think he's going to make a lot of plays for us.
Well, that was your second-round pick. Your first-round pick, Tyler Guyton, he gets to go up against Micah Parsons every day, and he's done it the last couple of days here.
Well,
so far,
Tyler.
so good. You liking what you see out of him?
I mean, it looks so effortless for him. I mean, he knows how to get in front of them. He's doing it against the best. He's going against Micah. He's going against D-Law. It's a competitive situation out there, but he's long, he's big, and he's athletic. And I love what we're seeing out of Tyler Guyton. That whole young offensive line group, throwing BB and
Yeah. Again, this is it's early, people, but we've seen the opposite, right? We've seen players come in and look overwhelmed, or you'll hear statements from coaches. Well, he's young, he's raw, he's got a lot to learn, he's not there yet, trying to be nice. They're not saying none of that with him. Is he going to be perfect? Absolutely not. He's a rookie left tackle. But when you're going up against the top 3 pass rusher in this league and you're holding your own down in and down out, that's all you could ask for. That's what you want. Okay? Some of the haters out there can't stand that we may actually hit it again on the offensive line. We don't have a Jeff Stalin out there that, at least in my opinion, it's not like Coach Wise back in the day, turning Nate Newton into a Pro Bowl / Hall of, Ring of Honor player, making Mark Tuinei, who was a defensive lineman and offensive left tackle, and being a Pro Bowler. Mark Stepnoski, who was and also ran. He was an ordinary guy into a Pro Bowler. The Kevin Gogan, who was just a guy that, that he turned into going back in history as a number 1 offensive line, arguably, to ever lace them up. And they were made of guys that weren't first-round draft picks. So we're going to keep it real. Dallas has only picked 4 previous first-round linemen. All 4 have made Pro Bowls. So this is number 5. He's young. I'm not saying he's going to make the Pro Bowl this year. Barring injury, he's going to be good, people. Is he going to be able to handle Myles Garrett? Yeah, with help. But let's listen in.
And the rest of our crew is just, really pleased with how that offensive line's coming along. T.J. Bass, certainly you got some stalwarts and Zach and Tyler Smith, and then Steele is off to a good start in camp. And, it's going to be a good battle with BB and Hoffman at that center spot.
And it feels like Dakota Shepley kind of is jumping in there a little bit too. But is center a position that needs to be?
He brought up a point real quick. Cooper Beebe, who is going to be, my opinion, the guard of the future. He's going to be, and he's getting reps. You need a lot of reps at center. Brock Hoffman, again, I don't know. If people don't understand, that's fine. Brock Hoffman is as good as Biotish and then some. Where Brock has to get better at. Physically, Brock's the type of guy you want at center. He's big. He's powerful. The mental part of the game, we'll see. That was a Tyler Biadish's strong suit, like I've said before. That was his strong suit. Being able to, but between him and Dak's very good at locating the pressure. Okay, so Tyler, that's what he was good at. We'll see how Brock does over the long haul doing that. But Brock is put in the work. Cooper Beebe is just very raw at center, but he could start right now at guard. He's that good. So we're good going forward between T.J. Bass and the Cooper Beebe at the guard position. When Zach Martin retires.
He's settled sooner than later because you need continuity with your quarterback and your line, or is it one of those things that could go all the way to the start of the season?
It could go with our situation. It'll stay competitive. You got a young guy who's, hadn't played a lot of center in college, but he's certainly just going to keep getting better every day. At the same time, Hoffman is great for that room. He's one of the leaders in the room, and we just feel very comfortable with that situation. I don't know necessarily that we have to step out and name one right away. We'll just let that thing play out and see where we go.
Last week I asked you about with CD not being here, gives opportunity for younger receivers, and we're seeing that now. We're seeing some of those guys. Is there anybody particular, or a handful of guys that have kind of caught your eye at receiver that's getting a little bit more snaps?
Well, that first round of guys, who I would put in there would be, obviously Cooks is the veteran and he's got his spot, and Tolbert was moving his way into number 3 last year, and he's picked up right where he left off, making plays out there for us. And then I think the next group would be Brooks and Turpin.
Yeah.
They've making plays out there, getting opportunities, as you say. Brooks has got
forgot about Cavante
He runs great routes, got great hands, and then we all know what Turpin can do with the ball in his hand in the open field. So it's a good group, and then you got guys like a T-Billy and young guys like that. It's been unfortunate Flournoy hadn't been out there because of a little meniscus in his knee, but we're hoping maybe toward the end of this.
Ryan Flournoy is going to be one of those injured guys this year, or they'll try and get him onto the maybe he starts out on PUP, or I think he goes on the injured list with he did have a meniscus, so not this year for Flournoy, which was fine because we have plenty of receivers in-house.
This week to get him out there.
Flipping to the corner position, the guys that are covering those receivers. Good news to get Trayvon Diggs at least back off the PUP list on the active roster, and now you can kind of ease him in.
You tell he's got a pep in his step and smiling. He's ready to go. I think he's had enough of Britt Brown.
There you go.
I think sometimes it's easier to practice than go through workouts with Britt Brown. So, no, it is great to have him out there. Now we got 2 ball hawks with between him and Bland and also Jay Lou. They're all over the place. And then, one guy who's getting everybody's attention is the rookie Carson. And
human seatbelt.
He's certainly making a push here to establish himself as, our number 4 guy. But it's competitive out there, and it's a good group of guys. And look forward to watching this play out.
All right, final one. I'd be obligated to at least ask you if there's anything new to report contract-wise, Dak, CD. You guys, you've said there's been some back and forth with offers. Is this kind of the way it goes?
That's the way it goes. I mean, there's a lot of interaction. It's cordial. It's upbeat. And, we'll just continue to grind out and hopefully have a solution at some point.
All right, sounds good. That's Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer. We'll see you next time on DallasCowboys.com.
All right, we're going to stop the video there. I just wanted to introduce the 2 younger guys, or the 2 newer additions, both coming off a suspension. Again, don't count for both of them necessarily to make the team. It's a depth piece. We needed depth. Like with the receiver room, I'm happy that we're getting some reps for these young men. I will be doing more videos. I'm going to cut this one short here, though. Just remember one thing. Talk to you later, people.